Turn out the lights. The party's
this.
over.
Fuck this. Fuck
They
this.
say that
Fuck
all
this.
good things must end.
Fuck this.
Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow starts the same old thing again. Willie Nelson, the party's over. I don't know what Jim is doing. Jim, this isn't a family show. I get all kinds. There's comments all the time, like, dude, I would like watch the show more if Jim wasn't constantly like cursing in random spots, like
Oh,
off
I'm
the top
sorry.
of the show. Like we literally
Oh.
have to like file that on
Oh.
YouTube when you curse off the top of a show.
Oh,
Like
I'm
excessive
sorry.
profanity.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do other shows like not curse? I mean, come on, we're big boys here. This is the big leagues. All right.
Well, it is the big leagues.
This is the big leagues. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, a couple of things. This is the trade deadline edition of the wrap-up show, as the Padres at the halfway mark are 37-44. So if you want real talk tonight, that's what we're going to provide you. This isn't, hey, if they win 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati, we're not going to do that tonight. Hey, if they get good pitching from Joe Musgrove, we're not going to do it tonight.
No.
Hey, if they can move runners, we're not going to do that. They're 37-44. So this is there's only one path, which is selling. Now, there's a million questions when it comes to that. Who's going to be the one to ultimately be pulling triggers? Is Peter Seidler going to allow AJ Preller to be the one moving forward? What does the offseason look like? But they're 37-44, and until they prove us all wrong, that's who they are. So John and Jim with you on the wrap-up show. Smash the like button if you're here. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate the supers. We really do. We're with you every single night, by and large. If you want to contribute, if you want to support, if you want to make sure to comment or get your comment in, if you want to rant, click the $ below the chat box. Now, before we start tonight, Jim, okay? Because we do have a bit of good news for Padres fans, because somebody is winning something tonight. Okay, let me find the exact bobblehead. Okay, this Fernando Tatis Jr. limited edition big head bobblehead, and there's a link pinned in the top of the chat. Someone is winning this tonight. This is all you need to do. You have to be a subscriber to this channel. You have to like this video, and you have to comment done once you've subscribed, once you've liked the video. If you've already subscribed, you're good. If you've already liked this video tonight, you're good. You have to put the word done in the chat. We will announce a winner within the hour. Okay, so within 60 minutes from right now, we will have a winner. It'll be shipped directly to you from FOCO. Brand new Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead. You need to subscribe to the wrap-up show on YouTube. You need to like this video you're watching right now, and you need to hit done in the chat. One of you will be chosen at random to win this bobblehead. It'll be sent to you from our friends at FOCO. If you want this bobblehead and you don't win, click the link pinned in the chat. Use promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps for 10% off your order. So that's the good news tonight, Jim, off the top.
That's the great news. And FOCO bobbleheads are amazing. I mean, everyone loves a bobblehead. Bobbleheads are great. I have a couple from FOCO, a couple from giveaways, but FOCO especially it's limited edition too. Like 220 of these made.
It's like 202 or 220, but yeah, once they're gone, they're gone.
I think it's 222.
Okay, 222.
Yeah, a lot of people commenting. So yeah, just subscribe and like, and put the done in the chat, and you're eligible to win.
That's it. All right. So a final time here. We're letting you know about it. Click the link pinned in the chat if you want it. Use promo code WrapUpShow10.
Are you picking the winner after this, or am I picking the winner?
You're going to pick the winner. So follow the chat. It's got to be done at random. You're picking the winner at random. Again, hit done once you've subscribed. You have to subscribe. You have to like. Okay, you have to subscribe. You have to like. That's all you got to do. Then put done, the word done, in the chat. Let's get to this thing. This is the culmination of as bad of a 10-game stretch as you could possibly imagine in the big leagues for really any team that deems themselves to be a contender, which obviously the Padres aren't. But they started a week and a half ago in San Francisco. Disaster, 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 win against the Nationals. Disaster, 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 disaster today. The ultimate disaster in Pittsburgh, a 4-0 lead with the air quality at like negative 200. And then they blow the lead and lose it 5-4. So here we are, Jim, 37-44 at the halfway point. Hard to imagine June 29th, and we're already talking about the trade deadline.
I mean, It's shocking that we're here, June 29th. And I said this today on John and Jim. You know, at least they're just getting the shit out of the way. Like at least that they're not gonna give you any false hope here. Like they are definitively saying we are not going to win this year. We are done. You know, like that's what they're telling you. We're done. That's it. And they looked themselves in the mirror and they looked at the standings and they really got I bet you today was the first time all year that they got the oh fuck moment. Like, oh fuck, this is over. You know, like oh shit, we're how many back now? Now it's definitely they know that they've been in trouble for a while now. But, you know, the realization of this thing pretty much, you know, not gonna be it this year has to have at least somewhat set in. And the only way that they make the postseason is if they have literally the best record in baseball of the remaining 181 games. No big deal. And we know that's not going to happen. We just know it. Just
Yeah,
how
because we've been watching. I mean, you know, we
there's
can
no
all hope it.
timeline. There's no nothing.
I mean, I really hope it. I hope we see something that you just don't see, especially if you're a San Diego sports fan. You just don't. It would be truly improbable for any team to do it. It really would. And that's the one caveat I'm willing to accept, that it is possible. We've watched sports. You've seen crazy things happen. You just have. You've seen teams go from worst to first. You've seen teams make up 7.5 game with 17 to play. Okay. That's happened in the NL East before within the last. I mean, things literally can happen. That doesn't mean they will happen. And 1 in 100s are not things to bet on. Like I always say, you wouldn't get on a plane if it had a 1 in 100 chance of landing. Shoot, you wouldn't get on a plane if you had a 99 in 100 chance of landing in all likelihood. So the odds are clearly stacked against them. It's not impossible. It's not 10 out with 9 to play. That's literally impossible. But we know what they're up against, and they're up against it all. And that's why for Peter Seidler and your AJ Preller, you need to begin planning for the deadline of your lives from a franchise perspective, because I don't think if 2023 is lost, and that's fine, we can all agree on it to a large extent. You can't allow 2024 to be lost. Jim, they have $189 million tied up right now in their payroll for 2024. 189 million. If you look at the AAV, is already tied up. They can move some of that money if they choose to at the deadline. But there's no scenario in my mind, Jim, where they're selling it to the fan base that, hey, we're gonna rebuild it. They may say we're gonna tinker with it and we're gonna retool it, but there is no way in hell it'll be a rebuild in 2024. You have to agree.
It can't be. You can't like physically they can't do a rebuild.
Like,
even if they
right.
wanted to. Even if they're like, yeah, these personalities don't mesh. Manny, Bogarts, that thing ain't working. Having Soto in there, that ain't working. Tatis with them, that ain't working. You know, like, Darvish, probably shouldn't have given him a 6-year, $100 million contract extension. That ain't working. You know, like the only ones that you would say, as far as the contracts that you've given out here over the last 9 months that you feel good about are, well, you didn't even give him a contract over the 9 months, but Tatis, you know, and Musgrove. Everybody else, you're like, I don't know about that one.
And they all become like immovable objects. I mean, even Jake Cronenworth at $80 million, that's a lot of money at a lot of years. I'm with you. I thought, I tried to kind of sell it in my mind that maybe Darvish would have value, but it's a lot of money and he's old. And I do think he can help someone for the next year or two or even 3, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, no.
So that's probably wishful thinking. Of course, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I want to see the highs of Manny Machado again. Manny Machado's not going anywhere. Obviously, it's an 11-year deal. Xander Bogaerts isn't going anywhere. Obviously, it's an 11-year deal. I want to see the good from these players. I get it; they're in their 30s now, but they got to give you a lot in the coming years. I'm not saying that 10 years from now, but in 24 and 25 and 26, you're going to be relying heavily on Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts.
I want to see the highs of Manny Machado again too. He's, as a baseball player, he can be one of the best baseball players in the game. That's right. You agree on that? I mean,
Yeah,
when
I
he's
do. I have not lost hope on Manny Machado. It might be a lost season, but I really haven't. I think we'll see the player that we've seen previously again.
but here's the thing on Manny, and I've said it. That dude is kind of like how the Padres are, right? The Padres usually teams take after their leader, right? They form the personality of their leader. And what has this team done over the last 4 years, 5 years? They have been up and down and up and down and up and down. I've described Manny Machado as an up and down guy that sometimes wants to talk to the media, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's moody, sometimes he's not. Sometimes when he's shit, he's shit. Like he just, I'm fucking Manny Machado, right? Like, hey, jump on the bandwagon. You guys are all going to be sorry once we start raking. I don't want to talk to you all the time. Just this up and down type of guy that it's the embodiment of what this team is right now. When Manny's great, more often than not, the Padres are good. When Manny's not great, the Padres aren't good. And that's how it's been since Manny Machado's been here. And it
Okay, a couple of
started
things.
the second this season started with Manny Machado, wanting to, announcing that he's opting out and getting the owner to give him that $340 million contract. And then ever since then, having by far the worst season of his career.
It hasn't been good. I completely agree. And sorry to cut you off there, but I want to make everyone aware that you got to subscribe. And we're going to get to all the supers in a moment. So we see the supers. We're going to get to all of them. If you want to support the channel, if you want to interact with us, if you want to make sure we see your comment, if you want to dictate the conversation tonight, you can contribute with the super chat by clicking the $ below the chat box. Again, you have to subscribe and like this video and put the word done in the chat if you want to be eligible to win that Fernando Tatis Jr. big head bobblehead we will give away tonight within the next hour. Just real quick, because we're talking about Machado, and it might be hard to see on screen. I'm going to pull it up anyway. This is the Fangraph Zips projection from Dan Zimborski before this season, after Machado signed the 11-year deal. This may be hard to read. I'll read it to you if you can't see it. But obviously, by the way, they said it was a gross overreach. Those are my words, but they said his future services are worth $181 million. They gave him $350. Okay, so that's Fangraphs. They said he's worth 180. They gave him 350. Okay, that's all you got to say. But then look at this, because he's a 30-year-old player, and I think he still has good value for the next 4 or 5 years. His high in WAR is 4.8 in projections for this year. He won't hit it, obviously. We've been watching. But then it goes 4.3, 3.5, 2.8, 2.2. By 2028, he's a 1 WAR player, 1.4. That rounds to 1. From 2029 on, which is 5 years, according to Zips projections, he's an under 1 WAR player.
Yeah,
that's what you're up against, and that's why these next 3 years are so critical for Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres. And to waste a year like 2023, if it is in fact wasted, is just a massive, massive disappointment.
Yeah, the first 5 years of this contract are the years where you're supposed to see the Manny Machado of last year. I mean, Manny Machado was great last year. There's no denying that. And the team followed his lead. Did they have a great regular season?
No,
not really.
It was good enough. It was
good enough. Like
yeah.
it should have been better. And there was a lot of frustrating moments in last season, no doubt about it. Like if anybody's saying that last year was just like the greatest season on the planet, you weren't watching. You were only watching the postseason.
Postseason was good. It was really good, and you're right. The regular season had ups and downs. You're right.
Yeah, and it's easy to say, like, I mean, and I've said this before, like, if Manny's good this year, the team is probably good. And we've said this before on a lot of wrap-up shows previously. Until Manny picks it up, this team is probably going to be shit. Because he's the guy that kind of leads the way offensively. And, getting the contract that he did and then following up with the worst season of his career, I mean, you don't agree with me. It's just not a good look. It's just like, it looks like he doesn't give a shit. And I'm not saying that. I think he does give a big shit. I think he cares a lot.
He gives
but like what people are seeing and what people are talking about, I mean, even Musgrove acknowledged it today about, hey, to the outside world, it just looks like we're a bunch of overpaid guys that are underachieving. Well, yeah, that's what it does look like. It looks like you guys are a bunch of overpaid underachievers for sure. I'm not saying that they don't care, but to get the biggest contract you've ever given, the Padres have given him two $300 million deals, and then to back it up with this kind of year.
No, it's very discouraging, and you know what I always say. So it's fair. Everything's fair. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's on him. You got to look in the mirror. He's going to get the most blame. He's going to get the most praise. He deserves blame. But I don't think anything has fundamentally changed with the player that Manny Machado is, other than he's not getting the results. And I don't think it has anything to do with the contract he signed. That's my opinion.
No,
By
I
the
don't
way, I
either.
could be wrong. I could be wrong. I will stick by that. And I just don't believe it. I think he's too high a caliber of a player to allow his performance to be impacted by anything that occurs off field, including contract status, agents, earning. Now, you could argue that when the team doesn't go well, Manny Machado doesn't either. That's fine. You know what? We can, but to put it on the deal, and I know you're not saying that, but people are, to say, well, he got fat and happy, he sleeps on silk sheets. I don't think it's as simple. I really don't, and nor do you. JD Gacho, thank you for your super chat, guys. Thank you for the supers. We really do appreciate them. We're going to get to them all. He says, John, singing the blues is something. Well, I feel like that's kind of the temperament of Padres fans right now. We are singing the blues together on June 29th. I mean, this is literally impossible to envision 3 months ago. It was impossible. Nobody would have said this.
No, Fan Fest happened. We're like, bro, are we going to have to we're going to have, I remember telling Aaron, I'm like, we probably shouldn't plan anything for September, October, because that's going to be a crazy month.
They're going to be in the World Series.
2 crazy months. Like just October, September, we can't plan anything.
Right now, book the trip to Paris.
Now I'm like, fuck, we
reverse jinx it.
Actually, we're going to have 2 free months here.
Rocket, thank you as always for your support of the channel. JD Gacho as well. Rocket saying deja vu. It is. I mean, this every night is deja vu. Nationals and Pirates. That 5-game losing streaks in 162 for a team can occur. We recognize it. It is possible. If you had a 5-game, if you lost at Dodger Stadium for 3 and lost at Oracle for 2, you say, well, it's not great. Mm-hmm. It's not the end all be all, and maybe it's more magnified. It's division rivals, but to do it in this manner, to not just 2 bad teams, Jim, 2 bad teams playing bad baseball. Then we always say it's when you play someone, you're playing a bad team when they're bad and you are worse than them. That's not good. It's bad.
It's very bad. Do you think, and I like, we talked about it, I think during the fusion today, me, you, and Darren, conversation to bring up here. Mm-hmm. Do you think things would have been different if they didn't give Manny Machado that $340 million contract?
It's what do we say during the show though? It's like you'll never really know. It's like that. What do you say? Like you choose a door and then it's changed everything. I don't know. I mean, you could argue that if he was putting up the exact same season and the team was in the exact same spot, well, you'll never have to give him a $350 million deal. He would just opt in to the 10-year deal. But let's say we don't know what happens when other things happen in the world. Like we don't know what happens if we don't know. So it's impossible to theorize on that.
No, I agree. It's an interesting thing to think about.
It is.
Because, usually you see guys on contract years play out of their mind because they're playing for a contract. Instead, they just gave everybody a contract.
Right. There are no contract years because everyone has a contract.
The only
guys who have contract years are having good years. Hader, Snell.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Kim's
the theory.
Coming up on one in a year.
Soto. I mean, Soto's not having this amazing
season. He's coming up on one, and he's put together. You're right, and people are disappointed. It's a lot of walks, and have there been big moments? No, they're 37 to 44, so there's not a million big moments. But at the end of the day, you're going to look and say, he posted his 900 OPS and had a nice year.
Yeah, this year is guys' career years, but for Juan Soto, I would say it's a little down. Not like
it's a tick, and I would say my 2-word summation would be ballpark factors. I mean, you're not getting lucky at Petco Park, and it doesn't make it easier. His numbers are still good. We can talk Juan Soto. later in the show. I mean, when you
Yeah.
talk about, who's available, I mean, you have to assume that they'll at least field calls on it. But, I still stick by what I've been saying this week. I can't move Juan Soto because I think 2024 is too valuable to the organization. Jeff the Crusher, thank you. He says, Bally's so smart when they stopped paying the Padres. Isn't that amazing timing? I mean, literally, the wheels have fallen off since the MLB San Diego Padres channel started, and I spent $74.99 on the rest of the year. Maybe I should have done month to month.
Yeah, I just paid $74 too. Not great. I think honestly, I think the Padres would wish they still had Bally's because then they'd be getting paid.
Yeah, and baseball guaranteed them 80% of the money. But there's another concern. It's like,
There's a chunk
how do you
there.
keep this payroll up, knowing that your revenues are going to fall at some point? Maybe it's not even in 2023, but they will in 2024. So how do you keep this payroll up and you're getting less TV money? Even if it's not a lot less, it's still less. I mean, like we said today on the radio, there's no scenario their payroll goes up next year. There's a very low percentage chance the payroll remains the same, and there's a high likelihood the payroll goes down. Let's be honest.
Oh, there is no question in my mind that the payroll is going down. It has to. If it can't go higher, I mean, that'd be the dumbest thing ever. If they're like, you know what, let's fucking double down and
We
spend
need more
money.
money.
We need more money.
The funny thing is, it doesn't have to do with money. I mean, not this team.
It's
This
about
team isn't
performance.
because they didn't have enough money. It's because they just don't have depth, and it's not well rounded, and they're not playing well.
Yeah, you signed another shortstop to an 11-year deal when you had 3 on the roster. You have your captain, leader of the team, having the worst year of his career. You have no depth. The bullpen is now shit. The players that you did pay big money to in the bullpen are hurt. And Preller has once again shown that he does not know how to build a complete cohesive roster.
Yeah, no, I mean, the first place you look is AJ Pro. We can talk Melvin and we can talk Machado and Bogart. 1st person you're looking at, obviously, right now. And you can talk Peter Seiler, but you're looking at AJ Preller before you're looking at anyone. Vector, thank you. Vector says, feel better hiking in the sequoias than watching this
Shit.
Okay. Is that the proper word for that?
The team, yes, the team is shit. The
Vector,
team
thank
is accurately described there in that poop emoji as being complete shit.
All right, a reminder, please subscribe. If you subscribe and like this video tonight and put the word done in the chat, you're eligible to win the Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead. If you're wondering what that thing looks like, click the link pinned in the chat. It's at the top of the chat from our friends at FOCO. If you want it and you don't win tonight's giveaway, use promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps. You'll get 10% off. JD Gacho, thank you again. He says the Dodgers didn't retain Manny because they had Seager on the mend. Attitude aside, Dodgers made it to the World Series because of a Manny bunt. I don't know all the particulars. The Seager thing is obvious, right? I agree with what you said earlier today on the radio as well, though. Like, if Manny was such the perfect fit for the Dodgers, they would have found a way to retain him. Was it a puzzle that he just didn't fit into, and he recognized that long-term that wasn't the right spot for him? Did it not work out because of the way it ended in the World Series, or just the 2 months he put together? I don't know all the particulars there. Is it an indictment that the Dodgers didn't make an offer on Manny Machado after 2018? I don't know. You seem to think it is an indictment on Manny Machado. He never got an offer from the Dodgers.
He hit 182 in the World Series with 390 OPS. So,
but it was also, yeah, but how many games? Was it
5,
6, 5? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, okay, bad series. So that means that he couldn't come back? Maybe. Is that why he didn't come back? But if he would have hit 290 in the World Series, would he have been back?
I said it today on John and Jim. If you look at the teams around baseball, or who are the smartest, the Dodgers are one of them. We hate it. It sucks, right? But you can't deny it. They're one of the smartest teams in baseball, backed with some big time pockets. Okay, the Rays, the Braves. That's just a couple to name.
Houston,
right?
Houston, right now.
I think Houston's extremely smart. Texas is now proving possibly to be smart if they can keep this up, right, for multiple years. But there's a reason why I think the Dodgers just didn't. They didn't even want any part of Manny Machado. Think about that. The Dodgers, one of the smartest teams, and you could say, well, they were already clogged up. Dude, Manny Machado's an infinitely better player than Justin Turner. I don't care.
Sure,
But
at that time he was like 27.
They chose
6.
Justin Turner over a Manny Machado at 26 years old. They gave the $300 million contract instead to Mookie Betts. And now I'm not saying that Manny Machado is like, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just thinking about
it's something that has to be taken into consideration in the entire story.
It does, and that he gets $300 million here, and no one else was going to give him $300 million. And great, the NLCS run last year, second in MVP voting. But you've gone through 2 managers with him here. You've now experienced potentially, if this season continues like this,
another manager, another GM,
another GM, another manager, 2 collapses that are just not even fathomable in your mind. Who's at the center of the storm? Manny Machado.
True. Now, I did say earlier, who's at the center of 2022 when it's good? Who was at the center of 2020? He was really good in 2020. We could say it was 60 games, but that's not his fault.
No, and I'm saying, like, when Manny's great, everything's great. Everything is awesome, and that just great. But it's about what happens when you aren't playing your best baseball.
It's true. It's a good reflection on who a player is when times are tough. And he can still be 37 and 44, but he could be saying the right things, and he could be playing better than he's played. That's fair.
Yeah. So I 100% look at how people perform in the face of adversity than when everything is going right for them.
Yeah, let me get to more of these supers, guys. Thank you if you are here. We appreciate it. Please subscribe here on Padres content for you, and we appreciate the supers. Great way to support our work. Click the $sign below the chat box. SJL Stevens, thank you. SJL says, we'll turn around after they are mathematically eliminated from the 100%. Postseason. We have all heard Machado and Tatis complain about fan expectations, but it's like that's not – yeah, and of course, that's not fair because without this fan base, Manny Machado isn't here, and Fernando Tatis Jr. isn't getting that type of money. I think Tatis has been really good. I don't know if I've heard that from Tatis. I think Tatis has been really good with the media. I think Machado's had some interesting comments. This is just who Manny Machado is.
Dude, if any one of those players is complaining about fan expectations, and I don't really think Manny to an extent.
Machado with the jump off the bandwagon, but we'll be effing raking later. It's kind of talking to the fans.
Like, I'm sorry, but fuck off, because the fans are what is the only redeeming quality of this franchise right now, because they go into every single game regardless of how shitty you are at home. You should be thanking them every night and telling them that that you're sorry.
Exactly. And by the way, JD's third, a great point in the chat, who set the expectations at FanFest, though. And it is a fan fest. I mean, what else is? I mean, I hope that the Colorado Rockies are like, we're going to have a great year. They didn't. Dick Montfort said we could win 80 games. But every team in spring training or FanFest should be like, hey, we're really excited. Man, maybe they took it to the nth degree where literally like the fire marshal had to clear people out of the building. And it was like the Beatles had arrived in America for the first time with the Big Four. So yeah, we were sold a bill of goods, and they might have believed it too. We've all believed it so much that all of a sudden here we are. It's like it's like you can't get too big of a head unless you're the Fernando Tatis Jr. big head bobblehead. Everyone recognizes that,
right?
Everyone recognizes that. Like, you have to be able. You're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are, right? But you got to have a level of humbleness. I just don't know if this team with these huge star figures and characters is capable of being humble when they need to be and dealing with adversity properly. James, thank you. He says, if the Padres sell off pieces at the trade deadline, will the sellout stop at Petco? I work at Petco for concessions, and hours are starting to get cut. The more they lose, the worse it gets. Interesting. Listen, I heard Eric Grupner say that they're still projecting, this was a week ago, projecting 56 sellouts. Now, that's still another 25 or 30. I mean, the numbers, the tickets are sold. A lot of these tickets are sold. Look at Monday and Tuesday night against the Angels. There'll be massive crowds. Ohtani's going to pitch one of the days. They have giveaways. Weekends, even when the Padres in 2017, Jim, sucked, weekends are big. It's the weekends in San Diego in the summertime. There'll be people there. But could it impact them to some extent late in the year? Yeah, I think Monday through Thursday it could. And then will it impact them in 2024? Yeah. I mean, think about all the season ticket packages sold in the offseason. That's going to dissipate without an NLCS run and without the excitement of Bogarts and Tatis and everything. It's going to look different. They will struggle to draw the way they've drawn this year, even if they're good in 2024. In my opinion, there might be an uptick. It might be slow to get off the ground based on what happened in 2023, would be my guess.
They made a huge gamble thinking that it would pay out huge for them over the course of many seasons, and they're going to come up just with the worst hand ever. Like, it's just not gonna pan out to how they wanted it to. They made a big gamble and they lost. They did,
Better
by
than
and large, they lost. And barring a 20-game winning streak here, like, there's nothing that this team really can do for me to make me believe in them this year, unless they rip off literally 12 in a row. And then you're like,
I don't think it needs to be that, personally. I really don't. And I think people immediately get behind the first 6-game winning streak in 3 years if they pull it off. And all of a sudden they're right back at 500. And now that people may not be right, and it might be a fool me once, shame on you type situation, but I get your point. They need to play consistently way better. I mean, they need to play in a different stratosphere to really convince people that they're capable of being the team we thought they were.
Right. And it's so weird. And like, we're saying, hey, prove us wrong. When the start of the season, we were like, can they win 100 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think people were saying 100. I think was probably. I mean, we had said they never won more than 98 in franchise history. So
I picked, I think 96 or 97 this year.
I think I said 95 or 94. I think we'll both be off, if I was guessing.
A little bit.
Carson, thank you. He says, were there any good offseason moves by Preller? I think so. I think Michael Wacha is a great move. I think Seth Lugo provided value. I think Nick Martinez, he's coming off a terrible outing. I think there was value there. Cruz, Carpenter reaches.
Suck.
Bogarts obviously at this point looks terrible. We'll see. What else looks really bad from the offseason? Machado.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just that. 350 and 280. I mean, that's $630 in future commitments.
So 630 million, yeah. That's
pretty good. I mean, that's a lot.
Robert Suarez one's a disaster right now.
Disaster. And by the way, he has no value this year because the team isn't good. Like, he could be great, and it's like, do you even want to, at this point, like, shut him down? I don't even know what they're going to do with him. I have no idea.
He hasn't even started his rehab assignment yet.
I know. I don't know. If you would have known they'd be bad all year, you would have said, like, get the work done that you need to get work. If they're, I don't need another Dinelson Lamet situation where you wait something off and then you're never the pitcher that you were previously. I'm not comparing the two injuries. I have no clue how they compare at all. But it's just not good. Circular, thank you. Circular says, who are the best contact hitters available for DH? No idea. You're talking about deadline. There's no deadline.
They're not buying
moves.
They're not buying. There's no buying.
If anything, they're just selling off, and they'll just put whomever, Gary Sanchez there. Or
yeah, I mean, they have Matt Carpenter signed on for another fucking year, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you could just whatever. They have enough dead money. They could create more, couldn't they? It's only how much
they're still paying Hosmer. Like, think about that. They're still
only
paying
for another
Hosmer.
like 5 years. How many more? 2 years?
The only way to unload these contracts is if you pay them off, and you're not. I mean, man, they're in such a tough spot right now. They are in such a tough spot because
maybe they'll package Pomerantz and
Mike Pomerantz.
No, Drew Pomerantz and Matt Carpenter with their prospects to shed money. Carpenter and Cruz and whomever else. With Jackson Merrill just to free up money.
Yeah, we just want to give away them. We don't care.
Right. I don't think that's going to happen. Spencer, thank you. Bad team. That's who they are right now. It's who they are. And I feel for and thank you here, Kevin. He says, hey, guys, if Bob Melvin is fired, do y'all think Mike Schilt is promoted? Cards won 17 straight games in 21. I remember that. It was against the Padres, 3 of them, after a horrid start and made the playoffs. I don't. Could he be interim? Oh, could he be interim manager if Bob Melvin was fired in the season? I think that's a possibility. I think if Bob Melvin is let go or leaves after this year, I don't think Mike Schilt would be anywhere near the managerial chair, would be my guess. If it happened in season, would it be Schilt over Flaherty? I don't know the inner workings of the dynamic. One of them would be managing if Melvin wasn't here.
I said this other night. If there are any discussions in that front office to Peter Seidler about letting Bob Melvin go and potentially making a change, if I'm Peter Seidler, I'm firing you on the spot. And I'm talking about AJ Preller.
That'd be amazing. Like, hey, Peter, I have an idea.
We have to fire Melvin.
You're fired.
You're fired.
No, you're fired.
You're fired. Everybody, like that, to me, if AJ Preller, and I don't think he does, but in an alternate universe, if AJ Preller went to Peter Seidler, I'm Peter Seidler. If AJ Preller came to me and said, we need to change with this team, we need to figure out something new to do. Yeah, you're probably right, AJ. What's your idea? Well, I think we need to make a change in manager. Nope, you're fired. Everyone's done.
That 10 times.
I'm done because you can't allow this guy to fire another manager and then put another manager in that spot. And who says Mike Schultz better just because he managed the Cardinals? Well, that thing didn't end well.
Well, and by the way, the Cardinals aren't the Padres. So whatever the Cardinals were doing in 2021 is not who the Padres are in 2023. It's just different circumstance, different time.
And you're not getting anybody better than Bob Melvin right now. Okay, you want to put Ryan Flaherty, Manny's boy in charge? Cool. Might make him play better, but that ain't helping.
You know, one thing I'm noticing, Jim. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, and this is weird. Do you remember last year, heading into spring training? Hey, Bob Melvin's the new manager. Man, incredible, high-level manager. Remember how like Manny would talk about Melvin and how they would like do work together on field in spring training, and they would like talk glowingly about each other. You remember this, right? This was about 15 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is not a knock on Melvin at all. And I don't even know if it's a knock on Machado, but I'm trying to put the pieces together. I'm not hearing the players speak much about the manager. Now I heard Manny Machado do the what's it called? Public backing of the coaching staff and the hitting coaches Friday, literally Friday.
Oh, you going to the Tingler route where they didn't even mention Tingler and they're not mentioning
that was, but no, I'm not though, because I don't think it's happening. But am I missing something? Is there a lot of like, hey, you know, Bob is doing everything he can, or you know, I really feel for kind of the situation that Bob Melvin's in, because I feel like I'm not hearing much about Bob Melvin. I feel like we heard more about Bob Melvin and what a great manager he was heading into last year and the work he was doing with some of these players. And he really has won Manny Machado over. Mm-hmm. And you could feel the difference with Machado, with Melvin in the room. And I wouldn't think that would change. I honestly wouldn't between 22 and 2023. But am I off in that assessment that you haven't heard as much from the clubhouse about the role of the manager recently or this year? Is that off base?
I wouldn't put too much stock into that, honestly. I wouldn't. I mean, Manny the other day said it. It's on the players. It's on him, right? And he said the coaching staff's doing everything they can. I put Melvin in that situation. Okay. You know, I don't. And if anybody in that clubhouse is talking shit about Melvin, like, then whoever is doing that, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm sorry, just go. Okay, there's the door. Peace out, bye. Because that would be bullshit. So I don't think that's the case. I think this is more of a player thing than a coach's thing and a manager's thing. I think that, you know, in 2021, there was this divide between the players and the coaches, right?
No, the players in the front office, and Jace Tingler was an extension of the front office, and therefore they quit on him, was the working theory.
Right.
Because Preller never added at the deadline.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the case here. I think if there's any problems, it's player between player and player.
Right. Not between player and staff.
Right. I think it's player and player.
But let me ask you
player
this.
And staff.
And then we need to tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz, and we're way behind. But let me ask you this. When Bob Melvin initially called out his team in May, I remember where I was. It was in a Target in Mission Valley. That Target we all know well. At like the mall where we saw the movies. I was there picking up like was it a Mother's Day card? I'm trying to put down the time. You know what I mean? It was like May 10th. And he calls out his team. Like, this is unacceptable. Like, we got to get going. Like, it's way past time to not be going yet. Mm-hmm. And then they've just played terribly since. Now, I'm not putting it on that. But, like, was that not received well?
Dude, the players had their own meeting after that.
And that must not have been received well either.
So, again, that's what I'm saying, dude. I think that it's more player than player coaching staff.
No, I agree. I agree. It's just I don't know. There's just it's all
I
been
forget who made
off.
I forget who made the point. It might have been Darren. Like, when you like your teammate, you're going to do everything you can to like help them out and pick them up when they're down. And I'm not saying they're not doing that, but the perception and what we're seeing is that it's not happening. You know, if Manny strikes out with a runner on second, one out, and now there's 2 outs and Bogarts is up. How many times we've seen Bogarts come through in that situation? We saw it happen today, but overall this season he's hitting like 198 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, but now see, we're both doing things that are like reaches. Like that's about likability of your teammates to come through in those spots. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. In theory, that's more subconscious stuff. I mean, you and I could be literally the best of friends from birth, but that doesn't necessarily impact me in that spot.
I'm just trying to think of things here, man. I have no fucking. It just
Neither do
what you
they. I read the
see.
post-game recap.
I
Jay
know,
Cronenworth, Joe Musgrove, Bob Melvin.
I know. And guess what? When you hear that from them, and you come to us, and you're like, "You guys don't have any answers." Well, they don't have any answers either. So
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
know.
it's like just throwing shit at a fucking wall and seeing if it
No, it
sticks.
sticks. Guys, throw your insurance needs to Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. He is a San Diegan and a lifelong Padres fan, and he wishes this team was 44 and 37, not 37 and 44. If you have insurance needs, you can save you $750 just by switching over to them. Whether it's auto, home, renter's life, earthquake, condo. I've got earthquake insurance, homeowners insurance, a life insurance policy with Mark. So he's an amazing insurance agent. I've had policies with him for 2 years now, maybe over 2 years. At this point, we had a claim in here in 2022. He took care of everything. And that's like the worst case scenario for me to have to deal with an insurance claim, except I have Mark Nimitz as my insurance agent. I literally texted him and he called like 5 people and the process got started immediately and everything got taken care of in a timely manner, and he saved me money. So the next time you have a renewal, before you just renew, call Mark. The next time you're looking for insurance information, call him or get a free quote online by clicking the link in the description down below. He's going to save you money. He's a San Diegan. He supports this channel, and he's a lifelong Padres fan. So he'll talk to you about the Padres struggles. He'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance. If you're looking for a way to support this channel, if you need anything in the insurance space, please contact our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is always above my head. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
Let's get back to some supers. What do you got?
Oh, no. Continue. Supers.
Okay. Let me get back to it with JMR. Jay, thank you. AJ's to blame for depth and not upgrading the catcher position, but no one at the beginning of the year was mad at AJ, not on Bo Mel. This is 100% on the offense, specifically 1 through 5. It is 100% on the offensive players, position players, O player.
Offensive players, John.
Yeah, well, I don't know the term. But yeah, I mean, I think Jay makes a good point. I mean, we were complimentary of AJ's offseason. Everyone was prepared for Bob Melvin to enter a second season off the NLCS. And yeah, I mean, of course, you're not going to be sitting here blaming Trent Grisham for all these issues. I think it makes more sense to blame Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, offseason, I don't know exactly what I said about AJ Preller, but I think I was as the highest I've ever been on him in his 9 years here because of the NLCS run, getting Soto. And I think I said it after the trade deadline last year. Because hey, they weren't like this great team at the trade deadline. You know, they were, I don't even know if they were in a playoff spot then, but
I think they were.
It might have been like the last playoff spot. They were fighting. They were definitely fighting. But I do remember last year I said, if this team doesn't make the postseason this year, talking about 2022,
yeah,
that's not on AJ, and it's not on anybody else.
Yeah, because he made the moves.
Because he made the move, and you're like everyone would have made the move for Juan Soto, right? So I was definitely high on Preller in the offseason. And we were all blinded by the Bogarts move because shiny object, right? Like, that's so cool, that's fun. And then we talked ourselves into that, like, you know, your team is better off with, you want Manny Machado on your team. Regardless, you got to sign him. You have to get it done. And, you know, we knew the repercussions if this thing didn't work out, but we overlooked it. And sorry, but now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. And
It's
it's
just
like,
hard to
well,
imagine.
this is actually wasn't the smartest idea to do all this shit in the offseason.
No, and it's true, but it's just like I was thinking at it from a like almost like an NBA playoff perspective. I'm like, well, 6 teams make the playoffs now in baseball. I'm like, and you're coming off a team that made a run in the postseason and had a nice regular season, not a perfect regular season, but I'm like, well, you had a nice regular season and you've only added. It didn't feel like they had subtracted in any form.
You added Tatis and Bogarts to
Yeah,
a team that
and
made
it
the
still
NLCS.
feels like that. I mean, there's changes, don't get me wrong, but you didn't trade Manny Machado and you didn't trade Joe Musgrove. So it's like all teams have changes. It's still kind
You
of
brought back
confounding.
you brought back. I mean, we didn't know that Robert Suarez was going to get injured.
True. And I don't
We
know if that's really a decisive reason why they're in this spot. It might be a
no.
reason. They have blown some leads in the last 10 days.
We didn't know that Manny was going to have the worst year of his career. Like there was nothing in anybody's minds, including the team. Nobody
Right.
nobody thought this team was missing the playoffs. I think, and I think if we mentioned it, it was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
It's true.
Like
But it
nobody
wasn't
thought
just us.
that.
It was projections. It was pundits. It was
It was them.
analytics. It was sabermetrics. You see what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to say, okay, we're in San Diego, we're biased, rah rah, which obviously that's not me and Jim, but whatever. Say it. I don't care. Or that San Diegans, media members, fans. That's for fans, of course. You should be that way. But then also all the people that cover baseball for a living are saying the same thing about the Padres. And then forget that. Then the numerical systems that spit numbers out are saying the same thing about the Padres: 98 wins, 95 wins, 100 wins, division favorite. And it's all wrong. Again, it was wrong in 2021. It's all wrong about the Padres. It's just crazy. And there's no great explanation for it other than just no depth with the overall roster and maybe a group that isn't cohesive. As stupid as that sounds, I mean, there's something off with the group. Plus, they're just anti-clutch on offense. Michael, thank you. He says, if you blame AJ, you have to blame Bo Mel as well. He's a 3-time manager of the year and has a way better team than Green and Tingler. Having X, Soto, Tatis, and Manny the whole season, Bo Mel staff system isn't working.
I don't think anybody here is not blaming Bob Melvin.
Right.
There's a difference between blaming somebody and saying that there needs to be a change.
They got to go.
So are we putting blame on Bob Melvin? Absolutely we are. But just for saying that means that we're firing him, because I'm not doing that.
Do you think Bob Melvin will be here the first day of the 2025 season?
No.
Either do I. And I'm not saying because he gets fired. I think he might just be over it.
If AJ stays, then I could definitely see him leaving sooner.
And now if AJ doesn't stay, does the new GM stick with Bob Melvin? Yeah, probably. But is it longer than a year? I think that would be contingent on 2024. Because if 2023 isn't good and then you bring in a new GM in 2024, it's kind of like, well, they're better, but they still didn't hit the lightning in a bottle moment and win a World Series with this payroll. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's the 10-year manager he was in Oakland. I never thought that, by the way. I thought they were getting a 3-4, maybe 5-year manager, and they're trying to, lightning in a bottle it, win a World Series with Bob Melvin.
Now, I think that if they went out and they got like a Theo, I could see a Theo being like, yeah, I want Bob Melvin.
Sure.
Right. If
Yeah,
they
but
somehow
they gotta go get Theo.
If they somehow, I don't know if they could, if they somehow could get Billy Bean, I mean, like, I don't even know if that's possible, but I'm talking like just like the envision that type of
contracts or whatever. Yeah.
Like envision that type of GM. I think that Bob Melvin, that the new GM would like Bob Melvin. But if you go out and get a guy that we may never have heard of before, odds are he's probably going to want a guy that is his own.
By the way, I think the next general manager hire has to be someone that has won a World Series, because your last general manager, this goes back to the manager argument, AJ Preller was green. Now, there was the rockstar GM and different unconventional thinking, and some of it really played well in San Diego. Some of it didn't over this time. There were highs and lows, like Manny Machado, and just like this franchise. I don't think you go anywhere near that route. I think you go find someone that has won a World Series, and now maybe easier said than done.
How many of those are out there, though?
Well, I mean, you'd have to look at the teams that have won the World Series in the last 10 years. There's a GM or two. Again, Theo's one of them. There's some unconventional stuff out there that could be entertained that I'm not even going to bring up right now. You can do the deduction, maybe. I don't know if Jim will deduce what I'm saying or not. You're wondering, like, it's 40 chess stuff.
Like, fuck is this?
Well, I haven't done the research on. I'm not advocating for it, so I don't even want to bring it up.
Right, because AJ, I mean, he is got to be here. He's got to be here for the remainder of the year. He just has to.
So I'm not going to start
just
throwing out names.
Like, it just has to happen. It's might suck, right? But you can't fire a guy right now. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That one, Homie's Garage, thank you. He says average games back in the division under AJ's 26. Is that right? I mean, the division's been so good, obviously. Tigers have won 1 million games, but at the end of the year, that's the average. That's crazy.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, there's never been a year they were like 2 games out.
And I post, or no, I didn't post this. Hold on 1 second here. I wrote this down. So, and I think I said it last night. I might have said today on the show. But here's AJ Preller's resume in the last 9 years. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. 0 NLS titles, 0 90-win seasons. You're on your 4th manager in 9 years. 0 draft picks that turned into all-stars with the team. 1 playoff appearance in a full 162-game season. 0 World Series. And you're on the verge of your 2nd generational collapse in 9 years.
That's from someone, by the way. I mean, I could spin that differently, but I mean, that's like all numbers. I can spin that. I mean, I think it's fair, but I could make a case. Like if I was his defense, that might be the prosecution. My defense is since 2020. I won a playoff series in 2020. I won 2 more in 2022. Since 2020, I've been in the postseason 2 of the last 3 years with 3 series wins in the postseason, including 1 against the Dodgers. And this season isn't yet finished. But I mean, we could say this has been a complete failure this year, but it isn't yet over.
Nope, I win.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the whole no 90-win season. Well, who cares? They won 89. I mean, 189-win season, though. You know, is that a big thing that GMs are judged on 90-win seasons?
Fine, I'll take that away and say no NLS division titles. There you go. You happier?
Circular, thank you. Yes, if they went worst to first in RISP, they'd be good. Yeah, and by the way, if I could bench 225, I'd be jacked.
You die. The bar would crush you.
I would literally die.
If John tried to bench 225.
Like, I'm not, look at this.
He's a stick. He's not going it. He's not doing it, guys. It's not a tricep. That's just like,
yeah, I have, this is my tricep.
It's just like there.
And then this is my bicep.
It's just, that's just there.
Right. I was born with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You know what? The other thing is, I mean, if Manny Machado was having an MVP year, you know, if Joe Musgrove was having an MVP or Cy Young caliber year, I mean, all of this stuff, guys. I mean, sure, sports, I get it. If they were better than they are, they'd be better, but they're not.
It's just hard to fathom that, like, Manny having the worst year of his career turned into this. I mean, and there's other factors as well, right? But like the team around him, it wasn't able to pick him up. You know, like there's just a lot of stuff here that, like, one guy just sucking turned into, well, if he was good, the team would be better.
Have you spent any more time in your life than you have spent and we have spent talking about why the Padres aren't good?
No.
Like, have you ever spent as much time talking about, like, you know, if my dog got health and extra, like, have you spent this much time on your upcoming wedding?
No. I mean, I'm talking to Aaron about this. I'm like this fucking team. I don't even know. I don't know what to say tomorrow. Like, we've said it all. I just don't know.
But we kind of haven't. I feel like there's even more to say.
There is more
as time passes.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I saw
I saw
this comment today, and Darren talked about it. Carlos brought it up here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Darren's comments on questioning Manny's urgency on getting a new contract during spring training and only recently saying they have to play with urgency. I will say that I will say this about not just Manny, but the team. The team should have had urgency from day fucking one to be like, we're going to go out there and we're going to fucking dominate. Let's go out right now and have the best seasons of our lives. Instead, it felt like they just were like, what's up? Okay, when's the game? Let's go play. Oh shit, we're losing. Oh shit, we're under 500. Oh shit, we're 8.5 out. Oh my God, it's halfway through the year.
Can I devil advocate one thing, though? Devil's advocate. Because remember, Manny Machado, high-powered athlete with a high-powered agent. When he reports to camp and says, I'm opting out, which I don't like it either. I mean, it was a huge story, but this is how leverage works. He never said in any way it would impact his performance. He said, if we do not come to terms on a deal, that will have no impact. That'll have no impact on me.
No,
it's not, as in he didn't say get it done or else. He didn't say get it done or there will be effects. Now the opposite has happened. They got it done. It's been a dumpster fire. But you know what I mean? I don't recall him holding like the organization hostage by saying it. He just said it.
He didn't. It was the biggest story for a week because you know,
well, he was coming off an MVP season, basically.
Yeah, the possibility of not having Manny Machado at the end of the year, you're like, I don't know about that.
That's called poker.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the team mentality from the start of the year. I'm not saying it was just solely Manny, but the urgency thing that he talked about the other day, right? That's a team thing, and I don't understand why there wasn't urgency from day one. That you had to let it get to this point before you.
What does that mean, though? This goes to another thing. When we say there isn't urgency, are we going to look back at the 162 games and be like, oh my gosh, game 5, they weren't urgent there?
No, it goes back to what Melvin said at that workout about how we have a lot of talent. We can't just expect to win all the time. And I feel like they went into the season just expecting to win all the time. Okay, instead of going into the season saying we need to go out and prove it, and we got a lot of new pieces here, but we all believe we're going to win a World Series, and let's go out and fucking kick ass. And instead, they just went out, and it just feels like they were just,
and they got their ass kicked
there. Yeah.
All right, let's tell our viewers about Aura. That's how I've been able to get my bench press numbers up with our friends over at Aura. Their co-founder Will.
How much do you think you could bench press?
We should. I mean, I don't know if my life was on the line if I could bench 135. Maybe with training, I could bench 135. I don't think so, though, actually. I think I could probably bench 115, 35 on each side. Maybe. Maybe 135. I think in college I could bench 135, which I thought was pretty impressive.
One of the most I've ever benched. You're going to tell me I'm a fucking liar.
It's not. Whatever you're saying, it's a lie.
No, it's not.
What is it? 85 pounds.
No.
Most you're going to tell me 245.
I'm going to tell you 260.
You get out of my face.
I'm not lying.
Unless you're taking Aura in college. You can do that now?
No, I said I can't do that now. But there was a moment in time that I benched 260.
Yeah, and you probably had to walk uphill both ways to school in the snow. All right, ORA.organic. Their co-founder, Will, huge supporter of this channel. Congratulations to Will. He's got a newborn at home, a little one. He's frustrated. He's up at night. He's watching these like we all are. They've got a sale going on right now, July 4th sale, 25% off with code USA25. The link is in the description down below. This is an amazing company. They got great people. They're based right here in San Diego with offices in Liberty Station. Plant-based products. All of them are plant-based. Probiotics. I take one every single day. My wife does as well. It's actually 2 pills. I take 2 pills every single day. The Aura Probiotic. And that's for heart health, mental health, digestion. They've got proteins for after workouts, pre-workout supplements, omega-3 oils if you take a fish oil, sleep pills, immunity pills, and much more if you go to their website. You can click the link in the description down below or just go to ora.organic. 25% off going on right now. Use code USA25. Click that link. down below. Support our channel and support our friends at Aura and get healthier.
Yeah, they have everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. We talked to him tonight. He is going through it, guys. He is down and out about this team. So go cheer him up and go purchase some supplements from Aura, www.ora.organic. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle, go there, pick up some supplements, and you'll thank us later.
You will be thanking us later on. There's no question about it. Matt, thank you for the super, guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you're here, remember, if you're getting here late, if you subscribe and like this video, you got to be a subscriber to the wrap-up show. If you like tonight's video specifically and put done in the chat, you're eligible to win the Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead from our friends at FOCO. If you're wondering what that looks like, click the link pinned in the top of the chat. Someone tonight that subscribes and likes and puts the word done in the live chat is winning a Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead from our friends at FOCO. Use promo code WrapUpShow10 in all caps, by the way, if you want to buy it and you don't win. Click that link up above. Matt says, what are the chances that AJ stays president of baseball operations but gets a like-minded GM to oversee? We've talked about this. I mean, do we want a like-minded GM?
No.
Or do you want like someone that like creates friction with the president of baseball operations and like bites back? Or do you want someone that's pulling? I don't even know. If you get a GM underneath AJ Preller, what role is the GM playing? Isn't AJ Preller's boss?
I guess he would be more involved
The day-to-day?
with the day-to-day stuff, because it feels like AJ a lot of times is like scouting some kid in like Wyoming,
New Mexico, right? Okay, but then when it comes to something like, oh, I don't know, trading Juan Soto, you think AJ Preller might be involved?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I advocated for putting the president of baseball operations over Preller and taking the title away, but then Jim and I agree with him. He's like, well, then just get rid of Preller. I'm like, all right, good point.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, then you might as well just get rid of Preller at that point.
Right.
It makes no sense to have someone overseeing Preller, because then they're just gonna fire Preller anyway.
Right, after like a week. Jamar, thank you. He says the issue is no clutch. They are in most games 1 to 3 hits with runners in scoring position, and we have 20 more wins. Entire team can't hit in the clutch. Has to be mental, right? I think it's like when things stack upon each other, and it's like they can't get rid of the weight that's on their shoulders. I think Melvin even said at postgame today, he's like, we have to separate from what's happened to this point. We can't worry about what's happened in the first 81 games. It has no relevancy on what we do moving forward, and we really got to get going. It just feels like with each passing day that they don't come through, it's like weighing on them even more, creating pressing, creating doubt, creating this ineptitude. I don't know what it is.
Oh, dude, they let this thing snowball to a point of no return. They did not stop the Avalanche.
Yep.
Before the Avalanche just overtook them, and they thought that there was a lot of talk when this thing, like in middle of May, we got plenty of time. We got time. We're gonna turn it around. A lot of that shit, and we heard a lot of that. Instead of no, we need to stop this now because this is unacceptable. We didn't hear much of that.
Yeah, like where was that first? They never made even that first pivot. And I'm not advocating for it, but there was never even the, hey, this coach is gone. Or hey, Trent Grisham, you're going to AAA. Hey, Austin Nola, you're like, they never even made that like interesting left turn.
Shit.
Sure, they flyered, get a flyer on Gary Sanchez. Nice. But it didn't feel like they ever like shook it up just a little to kind of
no shake
put
up.
feet to fire a little bit.
None of that. It was status quo. And I remember, I forget when it was. It might have been after the Royals series when we came on and we said to what you just alluded to, like,
make a change or do something.
Shake
please.
it up. And Grisham, you're sent down. Nola, I'm DFAing you.
Yeah, that was over a month ago, I think.
I'm putting this guy here. I'm putting this guy here. I'm moving guys down in the lineup. I'm doing this. I'm shaking this shit up. I am showing that what is happening right now needs to stop, because if it doesn't, we're going to be in a situation where it's almost point of no return. And guess what? We're at point of almost no return now. So
yeah, they just waited like too long. What's AJ Preller going to do? Talk tomorrow and say what? And what's Peter Seidler going to do? Talk and say what? It's like it's too late. I mean, I think
Like-
you do need to talk. I think you need to explain what the hell's going on to this fan base, to the 3 million people that are consuming your product.
What do you think he's going to say tomorrow?
AJ Preller?
Because I can guarantee you he's going to say
I think he'll deflect.
exactly. He's
I
going to
think
deflect the
say,
entire
listen,
time.
we thought we'd be better than this. Yeah, the guy's got to perform.
We guys just got to
But I
hit.
don't think he's going to say 5-alarm fire.
Nope.
I think he's going to say, listen, we need to do better. We got the people in that clubhouse to do it. We don't think we need to make this wholesale changes. We have the right manager.
Yep.
We have the right nothing. He'll
It's
say
going to be a lot of backing.
Yeah, and it's not going to be. He's not going to be blaming. He's not going to hold himself accountable. And I get it. It's his job.
Mm-hmm.
So he would prefer to keep it. It's his.
Yeah.
So you're not going to criticize it yourself. I think he'll take maybe some respect. He's going to recognize their poor play. I do think he'll be willing to say that. Nobody anticipated this. We are capable of doing more than this.
Yeah.
I think you'll hear that type of speak, but nothing really.
But you're not going to hear the truth of like, yeah, I made a mistake.
We
I
told
should have
John
signed.
Heyman we flat out can't hit.
Yeah, I know. But
That's
you're
like a direct quote.
You're not going to hear the, yeah, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have signed Cronenworth when I did. I shouldn't have allowed, well, he had no choice with the Manny stuff, but I shouldn't have gone big fish hunting in the offseason to get Xander Bogaerts when it was like literally unnecessary. Probably shouldn't have given that contract extension to Yu Darvish, let him pitch at this year out. But like, he's not going to say that. It's going to be just the blah, blah, white noise, just nothing interesting. I guarantee you will come from that. And if it does, then it'll be, then I'll be shocked.
It won't be. No, it'll just very little. Rocket, thank you. Rocket says, I don't trust Preller to sell. Buying is in his DNA. It'll be interesting to see if it's real selling. Like, yeah, to get like real pieces back. I don't know. I mean, again, with that scout mentality, knowing what other organizations have. I mean, again, do I trust it? No. But if not him, then who? I don't care if I trust him or not. I'm still trading guys that are gone at the end of the year because I'd prefer to have a human being in my system over thin air when Josh Hader walks out the door.
Yeah, get something back because you weren't going to get anything back for them if you were actually winning. Now the flip side of that is you might have a World Series out of it and then fucking go. I don't, but if they do not trade away Snell and Hader at the deadline and they keep them and they're still like 7 out or 6 out and they're still under 500 at the deadline,
then it's gross negligence. And then you'll hear, well, sometimes you don't make a trade because you got to stand pat because you got to get what they're worth. But no, sometimes you just got to, if your computer has a broken screen like mine did, and they're offering you $82 for it, it's more than $0. You may have paid $1,100 for it. Take the $82.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than nothing. That's the way I look at it.
Right. If you don't have a charging cord, just borrow John's all the time.
Borrow John's. That's what you do all the time.
Don't go buy. Just borrow.
No, and I hate Jim because of it. All right, guys. Underdog Fantasy is a great partner of ours. If you play daily fantasy, you should do it with Underdog. You can use promo code PODSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100. They've got the 7th inning stretch going on right now, okay? All you have to do is sign up, and they're going to set your lineup each and every week. All you do is draft. It's $7 to enter. They take care of everything else. You can win part of $150K in total prizes. Sign up from now through July 14th at Underdog Fantasy or at the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That is promo code PODSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can see the drafts going on right now for Major League Baseball starting tomorrow. $3 drafts are going on right now in Major League Baseball. They have pick'ems going on each and every day. We've showed you how easy it is to win. Let's take a look at the Padres tomorrow in Cincinnati. Believe it or not, there is a game. The season will continue despite them losing today. Seth Lugo, do you like higher or lower than 4.5 strikeouts for Seth Lugo tomorrow in Cincinnati? You said lower.
Lower.
Okay. Machado, 1.5 total bases. It seems. Let's just bet against until they prove us wrong.
Oh yeah, bet against
How about that?
Everything. Yeah, prove us wrong.
And then we'll take
Dare
higher
you.
on Ellie De La Cruz. It's the reverse jinx. Okay.
Triple dog dare the Padres to prove us wrong.
Okay. So if that hits, you go 3 for 3 there. $25 pays $150. If you insure it, okay, you can still win 75. And if you get one wrong, you just get 2 out of 3. You can still win by insuring it. So underdogfantasy.com, promo code PADSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100. 100%. Again, Underdog Fantasy or the Underdog Fantasy app, or use promo code PODSRAP and get a 100% deposit match. All right, I think there was a super or two we needed to get to here, guys. Then we need to announce a winner here, Jim. So get yourself ready to announce a winner. Okay, here's your last chance, by the way. Subscribe if you're here live right now. Smash the like button for us.
How do I know if they're a subscriber?
In the chat. Hold on. I'll put you in. I'll let you know right now. I'll let you know. Okay. Check that area that I just told you to check.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
You have the access like I have.
I know I do. I just didn't know where to go.
You don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, last chance. Subscribe. Smash the like button. Put the word done in the chat. You are eligible for Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead from our friends at FOCO. If you want to see it, click the link pinned in the chat. Use promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps if you want to purchase that Fernando Tatis Jr. Bobblehead. And if you don't win, I'll give you a minute.
I'm still
you do you
scrolling up.
There's you like do you. You still got time. You still got time to enter right now, folks. Let me get to the super. Chris, thank you. He says Ozzie Guillen as a new head coach, manager if Bob leaves. Also, he's won a World Series with the White Sox. It's just been so long, Chris. I mean, it's been so long, and it did not end well for Guillen. I don't see it. If I'm being honest, I know the name comes up. It does. It comes up on social media. I've heard others say it. I don't think it's a bad name to bring up, to be honest. I personally don't think that would be where they would turn initially. Not that I even know who the hell's the general manager going to be, but I don't know. I mean, he had a nice 2 years, and then the wheels fell off. And we haven't seen Ozzie Guillen managing in how long? It's been a long time.
The ship has sailed on that one, guys.
It's been a very long time at this point. Like, I think too long, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jim, are you ready to announce a winner or not?
Hold on. I just got to, okay.
Wait, there might be a drum roll in we've never used the sounds that are in the system. Are we able to use that? Like, you see the background music? But that's not a drum roll.
We could add a drum roll.
Right. But can we use acoustic cinematic while you announce this?
Sure. Okay, guys, this is going to be a random choosing. I can't hear anything.
I can. Can you guys hear it? Put it in the chat. Can you hear acoustic cinematic?
I can hear it now. It sounds like it's coming off your computer.
It might be.
It does not sound it's coming. This is the dumbest thing ever. All right, ready? Here we go. Gonna scroll. I'm not looking. Nope, didn't. Nope, dang it.
You're looking for the word done?
Yeah. Dang it.
I like this.
All right. It's frozen. Okay, hold on. Ready? 1.
You're such an idiot.
2, 3. There we go. There's the winner.
Clap emojis for Eric8880. Eric8880, you have won a Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead from FOCO. What's that?
Turn this music off. What are you doing? Jesus.
What, the music?
Yes.
I hit pause.
God.
Email PadresWrapUpShow@gmail.com. We'll get your address, and FOCO will send it directly to you. Congratulations, Eric8880. Email PadresWrapUpShow@gmail.com whenever you find out that you won, whether you're here live or on replay, and send us your address, and we will get that bobblehead to you from FOCO. There. Thank you, Eric. You were here. Great. Terrific. Congrats. Anyone else that's here, if you want it, click the link pinned in the chat. Use promo code WrapUpShow10 in all caps. Get 10% off the Fernando Tatis Jr. Big Head Bobblehead. Thank you guys. Seriously, again, we wish the circumstances were better all week long, really all season long. Down, not yet fully out, although we're talking like it's going to be tough. Let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. All right. If they win tomorrow night, I don't know if we're going to say this is who you start game 1 of the NLDS or whatever. But hopefully they win tomorrow. We'll be back with you tomorrow night, Friday night edition of the wrap-up show. Padres Reds, 2 p.m. start. Join us from Fair Play in North Park. We're broadcasting live from 3 to 6. Just watch the Padres with us.
Yeah.
Fair Play
If you want live reactions tomorrow, come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. Also, decision day, potentially for San Diego State. We don't really know what that means. Come hang out with us. Fair Play, North Park, 3 to 6. San Diego Sports 760. We'd love to see you in North Park. If you've never been there, it is a great, great spot. Trust us on that. It's a great spot to watch some live sports, have some food, have some drinks. If you're here, subscribe. Year-round Padres content. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you're looking for the audio-only edition of the wrap-up show, the podcast of this YouTube channel, click the link in the description down below. We have it for you. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, auto, home, business, life, renters, homeowners, earthquake insurance. Mark is your guy. Click the link in the description down below. He's our title sponsor. He's been with us since day one. Aura and Will, thank you. If you're looking to get healthier, they've got that promo going on right now. I got you, Jim. 25% off at ora.organic. Underdog Fantasy, so easy to play and win. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. What do you have, Jim?
I'm just going to leave you with this. John Heyman, in an article just posted to the New York Post, says the Padres. Turn that shit off. Turn that shit off. Jesus. Thank you. That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's like you're a kid with like. Well, John Heyman expects the Padres to still be buyers, so congratulations.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Turn this stupid crap off. First of all, I don't trust John Heyman or Bob Nightingale, or really anyone that does this other than Jeff Passan. But maybe I trust John Heyman more than Bob Nightingale. Let me read this tweet. Let me read this. Is this a tweet or is this an article?
No, it's in his article.
Read me the exact words that he expects them to be buyers. Nothing else. No commentary.
He said, he says Royals' longtime catcher, Salvador Perez, isn't likely to be dealt, but he'd be a fit for the Marlins or Padres. That is, if the disappointing Padres buy as planned.
That's not exactly like, I mean, Jim.
I know, just kidding. Oh, he did say more here. I was wrong, maybe. The Padres, as disappointed as the Mets, may have to consider pivoting to sell. If so, free agents Snell, Hader would be huge targets. It'd be interesting to see if superstar Juan Soto would be considered for a trade again. The Padres' chances to re-sign him don't seem especially promising.
Man, if they're buying, it means that something went right in July, I would have to think, because there's no way you're buying if it's just a mediocre July, or based on what you've seen to this point. That's it. That really surprised me. I turned the dance music off.
Like, do they really still plan on buying at the deadline?
They might be saying that, but come on. There's time.
Yeah, there's 26 games left.
All right, join us, guys, tomorrow, 3 p.m., San Diego Sports 760, tomorrow night right here on The Wrap.